my friend, and welcome back. Today, I want to talk about the idea of magic being everywhere and surrounding us, and the divine energy or God energy that is constantly surrounding us. Because, you know, we take all of this space, this nothing space, we think it's nothing. We think it is just air. But in reality, what if even just by moving your hands like this, you were moving through tons of networks and neural networks and energies that you just couldn't see. And this was actually not nothingness. It wasn't just air, that it was something, that it was God energy. And that, say this God energy looked like all these different networks that connect everything. And that is how we are able to feel instant connection sometimes. That's why things like remote viewing work and astral projection work, because what if you were to instantly be able to travel through these networks to somewhere else? And it is just our human beliefs and our human constructs that keep us from doing that. Well, I feel like if you dig a little bit, you will actually find that this is true, and you will find that people are actually already doing this. Maybe not exactly with their physical body, but with their, consciousness. They are able to do things like remote view and astral project and all these different kind of woo into the woo things. But as we grow and evolve, I think that we will come to find that things like this are going to be a lot more common. It's going to be a lot more understood, and I feel like it is definitely going to be a lot more researched. I saw like a meme or something the other day that said that spirituality is just science that hasn't happened yet, or science that hasn't been discovered yet. And I really believe that that is true, because I feel like, some of these concepts might just seem so out there, but it is only because our science hasn't caught up. Like, we feel like we're so advanced, we're so scientifically advanced, but everyone at every period of time, at some point in time, thought that. Like the cave people that had the wheel, I'm sure thought that, like, wow, we have the wheel and now we can take heavy things from one place to another much more easily. Gosh, how much more advanced could we get? And then look at us now. And if you were to put yourself back into histories, even the 1950s, wow, how much more advanced could things get? In the 1980s, how much more advanced could things get? How much more things could science discover? Because we're coming to find out that, number one, that science is discovering new things all the time, and number two, I think that we're also coming open to the idea that science can be skewed. And you can pretty much prove almost anything that you want to prove in one direction or the other if you isolate the experiment enough and skew the answers to what you are saying. So we are also starting to find that some of the science that we have relied on might not necessarily be the truth. It might not exactly be truth science. It might just be someone trying to prove the point that they want proven. Now, this can work in a way to prove something that may not necessarily be, may only be true in a specific instance, may not be true in every instance. But that can also work for us when we are saying that not everything has been discovered, because science is not as advanced as it's going to get, and it is really egotistical and very ignorant to think that it is, that it's not going to get. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean it in a way of, like, open your eyes. science is nowhere near as advanced as it's going to be. I feel like that would be the antithesis of science, that if it was as advanced as it's possibly going to be. So what if some of these strange, what we consider to be strange concepts right now actually aren't that strange? What if, science in a few years is able to back up that this is more than just air that's around us, that it is actually a consciousness, that it is actually, for some sake, it's alive, and it is malleable, and it is listening, and it is interactive. That this energy is not just there, and it's not just something you move through, and it could be constantly changing and moving and evolving. And all of that has a lot to do with the observer that it surrounds. And once we start to open up to some of these concepts, I think that we will be able to really start to let the fact sink in that we are surrounded by magic, that we are surrounded by God energy that is able to do things that we thought it couldn't do. It's able to interact with us, and that we are able to kind of, in a sense, control what this nothing energy manifests in front of us. What if that were the quantum field? What if it were the quantum field of unconditional love and quantum field of infinite possibility? I talked about this in a video maybe last week or the week before, just about the infinite possibility energy to getting into that quantum field, where we don't have to really go that far. What if the quantum field was all around us, and it was kind of creating and discreating, as we move through this life? What if? And I think that those what ifs and those possibilities, that is what we really need to kind of get into, what we need to jump into, and what we need to really put our beliefs and focus on, because creating our own reality is the way that we are going to help humanity right now. It's keeping our vibration high. It's being the example of creating our own reality, and how we can do that in the way that we need to, remain in a state that allows us to do that. All of these things are coming into play and weaving that web of the life, that 5D life that we are walking into, that we are now experiencing, that we are now able to live out. And it is really important to question, to bring in those what ifs. Not a what if in a way of an anxiety with what if this happens, what if that happens. More of a what if that were to be true? What if I could create my own reality? What if everyone wasn't just talking out of the air saying that I am the star of my own movie, and I get to write, direct, and produce and star in that movie? What if they were right? What if? Let's get into that possibility. And then, when you have a moment, let's get into that mindfulness of acknowledging the God energy, the divine energy that surrounds us all of the time, that not only lives within us, but lives on the outside of us, lives around us all of the time. That is what I want to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to get into that energy, get into that quantum field of possibility, and know that you can shape it, and it is malleable, and it is always malleable, and you are always shaping it, but it just depends on your energetic field of what you shape it into. So let's be mindful of our energy. This is being filmed on a Monday, so let's take it for the week. Let's be mindful of our energy this week and the energy that surrounds us, and let's dive headfirst into that magic. That is our message for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anne, and I hope to see you next time.